Hey there everyone, this is Seb and welcome to another video. Hope everyone's doing great, as we will be taking a look at a particular item I recently picked up. Now why did I get this? Well, no real particular reason honestly. I just recently saw a couple of videos from Dennis Fleeman over on his channel, who picked up a couple of really crappy handheld games from the Kruidvat, which is a chain of drugstores over here in the Netherlands. And I figured, hey, a lot of people were asking for that old series of mine named that Ripoff, and such a device would be perfect for that. And I went over to the Kruidvat, which is just downstairs here, but of course they didn't have it. So, as things would have it, and the algorithms know exactly what you need, look and behold, I found another thing which should serve about the same purpose really. It's a really cheap device. It cost me, including shipping, about 15 euros I think, and we're going to check it out. Let's go. Alright, let's check it out and see what's in the box. On top of the box, which is rather barren but also very tattered already for a new product, which is a bit weird, but I suppose it's kind of common when it comes from China. Also has this weird, nasty, powdery stuff that seems to be on all those products you get through the mail from China. I don't know, must be nanobots or something. And yeah, let's see if I actually memorize what's on the box here, what's written on top of it. There's a couple of color variants apparently. I think I got the blue one, but for some reason it's not really marked there. And there's a barcode with a brand, Etparkk and Spiele für Kinder, so I suppose maybe this is like a German distributor where it passed along, and but yeah, it's made in China. It's obviously it's a digital system that's cool. Has a 3-inch display, extra wide display. I'm not really sure why you would even want an extra wide, but it doesn't even look extra wide. So yeah, I would assume it's just a 4x3 display, but we'll see. It's slim, portable, and a trendy device, so you can totally look fashionable on the streets. If anyone would actually do that. Digital platform can play on any TV. Okay, fair enough. And you can play it everywhere because of the backlit screen. Now I don't recommend playing it in the cinema, but you know, I suppose you can. And it has a rechargeable battery pack and an AC adapter. That's kind of interesting. Don't see the dose much in it. And a lithium-ion battery for up to 6 hours of play. Now I don't really believe that, but we will see how long it can actually last. And it has all of your quality marks here. You know, obviously they went through all the processes. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't put on the Nintendo seal of approval or seal of quality, because you know, it wouldn't be that much more effort to put it on there, I suppose. But yeah, let's see what's in here. And actually, yeah, that looks blue, all right. Here we go. There we go. That's the main unit. Let's use that for last. Let's see what we have here. Just a simple cable here, USB cable with. Is this mini or? I think this is mini. I always confuse the USB things, but that's probably for the recharging, and an actual controller, which is kind of neat. I think this is actually for the second player. So you can connect that through the thing. It's very, like it's mostly air held together by plastic. But yeah, it's a bit of a Famicom controller thing going on. Ooh, this is kind of... D-pad doesn't feel too bad, but the pressing right has less travel than left. That's a bit weird. Start buttons and 4 action buttons. Yeah, it feels very cheap, but honestly I felt worse in the hands when it comes to controllers. So you know, it could be worse, and yeah, that's how you can connect it. Would be kind of interesting to see if this also works on PC. Not that you probably want to, but yeah. Okay, let's put this one aside. There's your AV cable. It's only mono, so you know, you just have mono audio. And here's the actual the manual. If I can even open it. There we go. And yeah, I'll check later if there's anything funny in here to worth mentioning. And the battery here, so I guess the AC adapter is indeed not included, which is typical. This is 800 milliamps. Yeah, I kind of doubt that 6 hours of play you can get out of this, but we'll see. Also feels really light, but yeah, what do you expect? And the unit itself, which yeah, the buttons, again, I have felt worse, but yeah, I can easily, like, for my thumb it's a bit, the buttons are a bit too close to each other, and you know, I just got too big of fingers. But for kids this would probably be okay. It also has some grip to it, so I'm actually not too... Yeah, this feels kind of okay for such a cheap product, honestly. There's the volume rocker. That's real tiny. Holy crap. I must say that the buttons are protruding a bit far outwards, so I don't think for long periods of time this would be great. But you know, for just 10 bucks, and this is nice. No freaking screw in the battery door, so that's awesome. And what do we have on the top? We have got the video and the power button here, and this is for either charging or the second player, I suppose. And the screen looks okay. So yeah, let's quickly insert the battery, see if it has any charge. Okay, let's see if it turns on. Oh, it does. It does have charge, and it's quite loud. How loud can it go? Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good. What does that say? Oh, Chinese or English. Okay, cool. The screen looks kind of okay, actually. Yeah, I can't see any of that like this. But how big is the actual screen? Let's find out. Alright, so let's align it at the 2 here and then go here. I'd say about 7 centimeters of actual screen, like not counting the black borders, which would come to, how much is that? Somewhere in between 2 and 3 inch. But the actual screen, it's surprisingly good. I mean, it has decent viewing angles. It has a pretty good backlit screen here. Let's see if we can actually get in a game here. Ah, Super Mario Brothers. Always a good test case. Start. Ooh. Sound is a bit crunchy, but that might actually be okay. So that's A. Ah, so this is a turbo button. And this must be B. Of course, I run into the Goomba. Yeah, I can't really see what the hell I'm doing, so... Oh, I looked out. Ooh, yeah, the sound isn't totally correct, I don't think. Because that coin... where am I? Oh, there. Yeah, that coin sound is way too high pitched. So the sound isn't great. Where's my extra life? There we go. Yeah, that's a bit high pitched. Anyway, I think we should just move over to some actual capture to see what the actual video quality in the video out is actually like.
But first, some Chinglish write of smarts from the novella of Save Operate. The machine adopts the general mold. The appearance retains some buttons and output in fact. There is no such function, please no. You can also understand our other goods to the dealer. The factory before the battery power is not saturated, so when we get the goods, you need to charge more than 5 hours later use. Please keep the charge in 5 hours or so long. Don't drop, hit or otherwise destroy game console's components. Do not make the liquid is spilled into the game with the component. Keep the distance between the child and the wires or wires, or it may be where they can touch to prevent the child from pulling wires and wires down to the floor, causing accidents. Note: when the sound becomes dumb, the console, bad flower screen, please recharge in time. And finally, of course, I couldn't withhold this true piece of art that is the warranty card all the way at the back. It even has place for free faults. How considerate of them. Anyway, time to hook this thing up. Alright, so even though this is composite video, I was expecting a bit more when I hooked this thing up. I was left rather disappointed by the video quality here. First of all, the lead itself is really unstable. Even though it's all connected neatly, the slightest movement of the damn thing introduces interference, so pardon the occasional flickering here. The device sends out a 480 interlaced signal at 60 Hz, pretty much as expected. Not well suited for the European market though, as newer TVs don't tend to have composite inputs anymore and older, mainly CRT TVs, might not support the higher frame rates required. At least with this thing you can always play it as a handheld, although the poor viewing angles would make any two-player game pretty much impossible that way. There's also something off with the colors. Some games look okay, but if we take a look at Dr. Mario for example, the yellow viruses almost look like green snot boogers. Maybe that's actually an improvement. In Super Mario Bros, however, the sky is kinda purple. It's not so bad that it becomes unplayable, but when you know how these games should look and sound, things might seem off. Just a reminder, here's what the original looks like playing on the Mister. There's also nasty interlacing going on I can't fully get rid of, but that might just be me. When it comes to playing the games, it's okay, kind of. I mean, you can get through the games just fine. I've had worse joypads, but it's not great either. The D-pad in particular can be unresponsive, despite feeling quite good. So making sudden movements is actually quite hard, and sometimes movement just stops altogether, which is totally why I suck at Contra, of course. The list of Famicom games is pretty extensive, but as expected there are quite a few doubles as well, and not even just variants, just straight up doubles. Some games are, for some reason, slightly altered, like removing the title from Dr. Mario, or other minor menu changes or different names, with some hilarious results. Anyone up for a game of Gig Dug 2? There are of course also some ROM hacks on here, like Chip and Dale, or as stated on the title screen, Hip Ale 3. Which has the rodents fall in for the guys from Heavy Barrel, or Mario 14, which is, I don't know, you tell me, I don't actually recognize this one. Now the real gold of these kind of devices comes in the form of potential original unlicensed games. These tend to be terrible from our perspective, but do remember that in some areas like China or Brazil, these type of games did bring some much needed entertainment. Most games on here were official or hacks of official games, but there are a few unlicensed titles I have stumbled across thus far. Like Fish War, which is a boring affair where you either eat or be eaten, but it can get even more boring. Like in this one, where you just have to get to the goal whilst dodging enemies. Or try to at least, because the hitboxes are enormous. Yeah, I don't see Nutcracky getting on anyone's top 10 list anytime soon. What a name. A more ambitious example would be MK4. Unfortunately, this is the one game I've come across that isn't working properly. The controls are just all wrong. Up is start, down is up, and well, it's just a mess. Oh well. Otherwise, all the games I've tried work fine. I haven't come across any mapper issues, for example, which can sometimes be an issue with these cheap NES on the chip things where you're served garbled up graphics.
So, having spent some time on it, was it a waste of money? Kind of. I mean, for 15 euros, what can you really expect from one of these things? But still, I am kind of left disappointed. I had expected a bit more strides in recent years in these cheap devices. And yeah, just the colors being so off and the sound being off, I expected a bit more. I've seen older devices that did a bit better of a job. But also, let's talk about the battery life, because at 6 hours that it claims to have, of course it doesn't reach that. It's about 2.5 hours, and I think it was fully charged. I kept it a couple hours on the USB port, and there's no indicator that it's fully charged, but I only got about 2.5 hours of it. It still worked, but the screen went really dim, that you really couldn't see anything on it anymore. Also, the viewfinder kind of gave me a false impression of the screen. It actually has quite bad viewing angles. And another thing that I didn't really notice whilst unboxing is the length of the cords. It's not very long, and like the controller here, it's okay. Like, you're supposed to sit next to each other, so it's not a big issue. But look at this AV lead. Look how short it is. Not even a meter, I think. That is just ridiculous. Imagine having to plug this in behind a tube television. You will have to be glued to the screen to even have any length for it. Even for my capture card, this was not comfortable to play with. But you know, you can replace these, I suppose. So yeah, another thing I only discovered later on was that if you press down the 4 face buttons and the reset button, you actually go into a little test mode, which doesn't really serve a purpose, but you know, it's kind of neat that it's there, I suppose. Interestingly enough, the colors kind of look okay there, so I'm really not sure what some of these games, why they seem to have like this weird color palette going on. It's kind of odd. But anyway, that's about it for this device. Does it have some value? I mean, yeah, if you have kids and you want to introduce them to some games, then, you know, this is a safe bet where they can play some Super Mario Bros. 3, which, you know, is still an awesome game. And you won't be scared of a device that is not, you know, a problem if it breaks. As a serious gaming device, this is definitely awful. Whatever, we got a nice video out of it. At least I hope you enjoyed it, and I thank you very much for watching. And I will see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye for now. De mazzel.